All right, everyone. In this video, we will be covering Lesson 3 in Booklet 11. That is combining like terms. Now, in the previous lesson, we talked about what makes two terms alike. So please remember that the two conditions to make two terms alike is that they have the same variable and also that they have the same exponent on that variable. Now, the reason why this is important is because if two terms are alike, then you can add or subtract them, but only if they're alike. If they're not alike, you can't do anything. So the rules are as follows. Let's imagine that you have 8x squared plus 3x squared. Right? These two terms are alike because they both have the same variable x and the same exponent, which is 2. Because they're alike, when I add them together, I simply need to add up the coefficients, 8 and 3. Now, 8 plus 3 is equal to 11. And it's important to note that after adding up two like terms, the variable stays the same. So 8x squared plus 3x squared is equal to 11x squared. Now, if we were to even change that variable slightly, let's say we had 8x cubed plus 3x squared, then there's nothing that we can do here. You cannot add those up. They have to stay separate. Now, fortunately for us, in this entire lesson, our terms will be like, right? But in the future, I'm going to mix it up for you, so you need to be careful. Now, this also brings us back to a refresher on adding integers. Remember that the first step to any of these questions is to take the two operations that are side by side, in this case, the two plus signs, and we're going to turn that into a plus sign, right? Two pluses make a plus. So I can rewrite this as positive, positive. Wow, I cannot write a positive symbol. Positive 2x plus 9x. Now, because these are like terms, I can just add the coefficients together. 2 plus 9 is 11, and the variable stays the same. So 2x plus 9x is 11x. Let's take a look at the second problem. Here we have a positive and a negative. Remember that when the signs are different, it becomes a negative. So this is equal to positive a cubed minus 5a cubed. So we need to add these two like coefficients together. Remember that when you don't see a coefficient, it simply means that the coefficient is 1. So this is kind of like 1 minus 5, which is negative 4a cubed. Okay, remember, this is only possible because they're like terms. Let's take a look at the next example. Again, our two terms are like, so we can combine them. But first, I take a look at the positive and negative that are next to each other. Because they're different, that makes a negative. So this is equal to positive 3y minus 4y. Good. So we subtract the coefficients. 3 minus 4 gives me negative 1. So this is negative 1y, or you can just write that as negative y if you want. In this next example, two negatives make a positive, so we're going to rewrite this problem as negative 6b squared plus 3b squared. And then because they're like terms, we can add the coefficients. Negative 6 plus 3 gives me negative 3. and then the variable and the exponent stay the same. Okay, try these next two on your own and then make sure that they match my answer. But the first thing that we're going to do is combine the positive and negative to make a negative. And this will equal 4d squared minus 6d to the power of 4. Whoops, it's not d squared, my apologies. 4d to the power of 4 minus 6d to the power of 4. Now, because these are like terms, we can subtract the coefficients, and 4 minus 6 is negative 2, and the variable stays the same. Finally, two negatives make a positive, so we can rewrite this as positive. We can rewrite this as positive 7w plus 2w. Because they're like terms, we can add the coefficients. 7 plus 2 is equal to 9, and the variable stays the same. So 7w plus 2w is equal to 9w. Okay, that's about it for the lesson. Hopefully my voice improves soon so you don't have to listen to this for much longer. But take some time to work on Lesson 3, Combining Like Terms worksheet.